Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Sylvia, and for this particular video I'll be creating this digital art design. Welcome. So today I'm gonna be creating out of this reference image, and I thought that I would talk over the video as I create in real time. So the first thing I usually do is I create a new layer, and then I get the brush tool and select the fifth out of the default Adobe Photoshop CS6, I believe, and just adjust my brush size. And I always like to start with the eyes. And if you want to use a brush, you're going to be freestyling, but sometimes my hands are unstable or unsteady because I'm not that in tune with the brush. So then I end up using the pen tool, which gives me a more defined line. And as you can see, I do that for the bottom part as well. And just make sure that the lines are accurate, as we can see. And for this part, I usually just make sure that the edges are thinner, so then it gives it more like a drawing vibe, as you can see. And then after the eyeliner, the line of the eye, I like to just make it a little bit thicker, just so that it looks more natural on the edges. And I'll brush through that with my brush tool. And then on a new layer, then I go to the next part of the eye, which is the eyeball, I believe, the pupil, the black of the eye. And I usually have a kind of style, like I don't really try to make it as real as, like it's realistic, but it's not like realistic per se. Just gives it a touch, and my eyes usually just look the same. So then I do the whites as white. Technically, the white of the eye is not like white if you want to go more real, but this is my style. So then I just do the white in the background on a different layer with the same brush tool, not the same brush tool, but the third brush tool, which is more like it has rough edges, not rough edges. I don't know if you know what I'm trying to say. Like it's not defined edges, so then it gives it like a better shade while you're shading. And yeah, as I go through that, I'm just deleting part of the places that I have gone out of the line with the white. And yeah, just finishing that off. And yeah, just making sure that I like to name the layers, so then I can keep track of what I'm doing. But when you see I haven't named the layers, it just means that I'm into the work and I probably have forgotten, or I'm just not interested, because this is actually a simple digital artwork. I just choose a simple one where I'm doing one eye and I'm not like doing a lot, so then I can just walk through it, because it usually takes me hours to create a lot of these videos, this digital art. So this one was quite simple, and so that's why I am showing you while I talk over the art. So now, using the next brush tool, as you have seen, as I selected, I am creating the lashes, and I feel like the lashes are very tricky. Like I haven't really mastered how to do the kind of lashes that I liked. I started with drawing lines, and then as I went along, I decided to change it into this brush tool that I'm using. And because I do it with my free hands, I feel like I'm not that steady. Like I'm steady, but I'm not that steady. So then I just go over it and try and create a realistic look to lashes. That's if you had fake lashes. My lashes don't look like that, girl. I wish. And then yeah, draw up that with the black, so then it's like dark eyes around the eye. I usually like dark eyes around the eye. And yeah, I decided to do to pick up the color around that eye and use the same as it was, but she kind of looks creepy, so then I think I changed it. I'm talking over what I did, so then it's me just going over my work doing the voiceover, but I'm pretty sure I changed it because that didn't look right. So then I went back and I pretty sure I did a white, or if not, I changed the color and I just tried and saturated it down or take it down a notch, because then it looked like she had like a pink eye, and girl, nah, it was not working for me. So then I was like, nah, see, because she has like pink eye on one side and white on the other side. So I was like, let me take out some of the red. In fact, take out a lot of the red or pink at this point, because then I've taken down the tone. And I was like, you know what, let me just leave it white. Like I said, I knew I was gonna take that out. So yeah, I decided to do that. And then the next layer is, so if you've been watching some of my artwork, like from the previous videos, you'll notice that I always start with the eyes, and it's kind of like a process. Like I do the liner, and then I do the black of the eye, and then like I think I'm labeling at this point. Yes, I do the white of the eye. Like it's a process. Then I do the lashes, and you know, when I'm done with the eye, like there's always a process. So if you follow keenly, if anyone's been interested or anyone's been watching, you'll start noticing the pattern. And just doing it like that makes me just follow along and kind of like, you know, keep a process. So then I'm like doing it in a steady manner that I always do, so that I, you know, it helps me to know what to do next. So maybe you'd like to do the same for your illustrations, you know, kind of have a standard way of doing things, so then you keep it constant. It's good to be constant with stuff. So yeah, anyway, I did the bottom part of the lashes. Sometimes I separate the top from the bottom, because sometimes I really don't like having the bottom part of the lashes. They don't look right. But this one, I think I kept it. As you can see, did the bottom half of the lashes, and then I cleared out the small part of the white and left it like that. So then it looks more cartoony, if anything. The eyes usually, you know, they're very defined with sharp edges and stuff like that. Polish that look. And then there's always the shine of the eye. When I'm done with that, I decide to label that. You know, don't forget your labels on your layers, because trust me, when you want to go back and delete, it's a process. Like, you're gonna get lost. You're gonna get your work lost, because you'll end up having like 100 layers if you just don't label it, and it's gonna be so hard to go back and follow along. So using the same brush that I used for the lashes, I create the eyebrow. And usually the eyebrows are not the funnest part for my eye. You know, it's funny because even my own eyes, I struggle with my eyebrows, and kind of makes sense because of I don't know how to do my eyebrows in real life. I also don't know how to do my eyebrows in my art. It's kind of like putting makeup if you think about it. And me not doing my eyebrows in real life kind of transforms it to my image. But we're going to act like we, you know, I didn't tell you that I'm struggling, like, you know. I think it's cute. I'm getting better. everything's practice, and we get there day by day, step by step. So yeah, there's this part of the eye that's like the eyelid that acts as the eyelid, and I use the pen tool for that. Unless you're really steady with your images, then you can use the brush tool. Kudos to you if you are. Imaginary high five. You go, girl or boy. Kudos to you, man. I couldn't do it. So then I use a pen tool. Just give it that natural look. And yeah, the eye is done. Simple like that. So the next part after the eye, I just like to create a folder and just put everything inside there. Call it eyes, and everything that I've created under that, put it under there. Oh yeah, I forgot the shine. I always put that dot there as the shine of the eye. It's like the reflection. There's always a bright light somewhere that reflects into the black of the eye, and I keep mine simple like that so that it looks like I told you, the style I'm going for is like cartoonish, realistic, somewhere in between. And that's just my style that I've developed over the years. And yeah, so that's it for now for the eyes. And then I go to the nose next. That's the process I follow. After the eye is the nose, and I like to keep the nose layers under the eyes, just how I do it. I don't know if there's a reason, but it makes sense, like following steps, one eye, next nose, like that. So I keep it going. So using the brush tool, I go over the dark edges of the nose. Like you'll always see with the illustration, there's some definitive layer that has lines. So then I just draw that shape out for the nose. As you can see, as I'm doing, there's always that dark shape towards the end, like that bottom part and that dark shade. But everyone has different noses, so then you'll see some are wider, some are shorter, some are tinier, and also depending on the angle of the nose as well. So I just like to copy the edges because you'll always see a darker shade, and I use black as the outline because of, like I said, I'm going for the cartoonish look and not really the realistic look. If I was going for the realistic look, I would have picked the color for the shade with the swatch tool. Is it called the pickup tool? That tool that picks up the color. And then I would have drawn the line with the same color that is in the background. But because you're going for a more cartoony look, then I use black. And as you can see, freehand drawing is not as smooth as you think. I do struggle sometimes with drawing definitive lines, but with practice it gets better. And I haven't really been doing a lot of digital art nowadays, so then my pen tool and my hands, I think we're getting a little rusty. I need to go back and practice some more with my pen tool so then I can get comfortable like I used to. Yeah, after that I do the nose ring, which is basically just white background and a shade, and that works. It's that simple. Next is the mouth. Yeah, just checking out the work, seeing how it's coming along so far. And I always tell myself, when you're working during the process, it's always good to trust the process. Sometimes you look at the work and you're like, I'm not sure, but trust me, it's gonna work out. It's gonna look great. So just trust the process and follow along. So the nose is done. At this point, trust me, I always go back. What matters is I get the outline done. Next is the mouth. So from the mouth, we want to do the outline of the lip. So then with your brush tool, you want to draw the outline of the lip. I used to use a darker shade of brown, but I didn't like how it looked like. It looked a little bit fake, yet it's supposed to be realistic. So with my style, I went with black. I like to use black outlines because when I'm drawing or painting, I always line my drawing with black pen. Like if you've noticed, like even my raw images and stuff like that, I like to outline my shades with black. So then it just gives it that definitive, sharp look, like it's an illustration. Because really, if we're doing a realistic look, why not just take the picture, right? So then the point of making it cartoony or cartoonish is so that you have your style. It looks like an illustration, but it also looks like art. So that's why I go for this look more than the realistic look. So yeah, drawing the outline, as you can see, just making sure that it's aligned correctly, because remember, if you don't align, sometimes they make it bigger, sometimes they make it smaller, sometimes the lips just look right, and I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna go with it. You really notice that people are not really asymmetrical as you think they are until you start drawing them. You're like, she's a little bit asymmetrical on this end. You'll start noticing the little differences, when you're drawing people. So follow along the outline, the bottom part of the mouth. And there are usually 3 steps to the lips, which is the outline. Actually, to everything, it's usually you create the outline and then you pick the lighter shade of the lip, and I use my picker tool, collect the lighter shade of the lip, and then color it in, and then after coloring in the lighter shade of the lip, like that. Now use the 3rd brush from the brush tool and create the inner layer of the lip, just to create a shade with a darker shade of the same layer that you used for the lighter shade of the lip. So those are the 3 steps. You want to start with the liner out of the lip, then the shade, which is the lighter shade, and then the darker part of the lip outlining around the liner, and then using the 3rd brush tool, create a lighter shade, even lighter than the one outside, where you're gonna put that dot. Remember the dot we had in the eye for the light that's coming through? You're gonna do the same thing on the lip and at the bottom part, and then smear that with a smudge tool to give it like a more colorful look. As you'll see, that I decided to put a lighter shade under the shine, just so that it has like a different layer. Every time you put a lighter layer, you're kind of giving your lips depth. So then I like to work with different shades of color, and that's just me using the smudge tool to spread out the light on the lip. And at this point, it looks very shiny. I like a shiny lip more than a matte. Some people say matte. Okay, no one says matte. Matte look, matte finish. I prefer the shiny look, like a glossy lip. So then that shine just gives it that gloss. So at this point, you have your lip, and then most of the time the lips are closed, and I actually prefer closed lips because then it's easier to do. But this one was open, so then I select the layer of after the layer of the lip, I go under and I shade the teeth with white, because remember, whites are gonna be white. Like, why have yellow or gray teeth while you can have white teeth? And don't tell me realistically that the teeth are not white. I like my teeth white because it's cartoony. That look I'm going for. The whites are gonna be white. The eyeballs, the teeth. We are trying to be as flawless as we can get. So yeah. So at this point, I'm gonna stop there and ask you if you want me to continue another video with the same explaining digital art. If you're interested, if you went through the whole video. If you didn't, well, you wouldn't know. But if you did, write down on the comments, if you know, you know, if you know, you know. So then I know that you're actually listening and you're actually interested, and I'm not just talking to myself through the video. So then I'll consider doing this for an actual video. If not, then this is the end of this video. Thank you for checking it out. That's just me polishing the end of the video. Just know that my recording cut right at this point, so then I didn't end up catching the rest of the video, but I got up to this point, and that so far is 20 minutes. This was a simple digital art. So thank you for checking it out. Remember to like, subscribe, and turn on the notifications, and I'll see you in the next video.